Welcome, guys. Welcome to another Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. I am George. Like I said yesterday, I think I'm going to start streaming daily now. So in case some of you guys that aren't aware, it's going to be 11 a.m. Central Standard Time now, pretty much every day, unless, I'm just really busy. But in case I don't, I guess you'll just have to wait another day. But there's so much going on every day now. It's just kind of hard to stay away. There's so much to talk about. And hopefully you guys are staying excited, because I could see from today's turnout that one little dump is causing a lot of people to have fear, to have doubt, to have disinterest, and I don't know what the hell is going on as Bitcoin is still sitting above 19,000. So there's a lot to talk about today. I'm going to try to keep it shorter. Normally my streams are about an hour long, so I'm going to try to keep it about 30 minutes today, because there is a lot to there's a lot I want to do, and I'm going to let you guys go and let you get on with your day. But here I am. So there's a lot to talk about. Hopefully you guys are in tune with what's going on, because this Bitcoin dump, and I'll put air quotes dump, hopefully you're not falling for it. It's so obvious now that these kind of dumps is purely manipulated and for a reason, but you could see that something is happening, something that's different, and something that's I think is going to be a continuous trend going forward in a good way. So, all right, guys, let me get started. Thanks for tuning in. As always, make sure you smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, because sometimes it's good to have double notifications. I still have my Vegas fund and my Patreon page in case you guys want to support me in this channel and get more inside information. All right, guys, let's get started. So let's bring up on my screen here. All right, so Bitcoin's 18,800. It was at 19,000 earlier this morning. It was at 19.5, right? But what I think a lot of people is concerned about is this sudden one from 19.8, 19.9 basically, right? And we went back down all the way to 18.1, and then we went back up to 19.5, and now we're at 18.8. Like, what happened here, right? Why did it just go down? Here's the thing, and this is why it's different this time around, right? So I'm on a 15-minute chart. So when you're on a shorter time frame, you're looking at this, you're like, wow, that's a big dump, right? What happened, right? But then, you go on the higher time frames. Let's go an hour. Okay, it's still noticeable. You go to the 4 hour. Okay, it's noticeable. Daily, starting to not be noticeable anymore. And then you go to the weekly. Yeah, it doesn't even show up. Okay, so when you got a weekly chart and you're looking at Bitcoin going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive weeks up, a small little stop, and then we're on our way up. This puts things into perspective. Yes, there will be up and downs, right? But what's going on right now is very different because of institutional buying. Okay, very, very different than all the other times before, especially 2017, 2018, 2019, when you really didn't hear about institutional buying. The whales that are in the market, they could pretty much do whatever they want, okay? They have enough Bitcoin and leverage, and maybe with BitMEX's help, what I don't know. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. They could cause a lot of trouble, right? But what's going on right now is institutional buying is increasing. FOMO among institutions is increasing. And these institutions have way more money than the whales that are trying to manipulate the market. So when you have an event like this, guess what? The institutions are saying thank you. That is why I have it in the title. The institutions right now are licking their chops. They are looking for buying opportunities, because when they buy, they're buying hundreds of millions at a time, right? They want to buy cheap Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dropped to 10,000 tomorrow, they would literally run to the bank and say, how much loan can I take out? or how much can I liquidate because I want to buy. That is not going to change. That is why when Bitcoin fell down recently over this weekend, it was not too long ago, recently went from 19.5 all the way down to 16.2. Guess what happened? We had a V-shaped recovery and we went even higher, right? So this is what's happening right now is whenever the whales are trying to play any kind of game like before, where they're trying to spread fear, trying to get you to sell your Bitcoin to them, it's a wealth transfer, right? When you do that, guess what happens, right? They get richer because your Bitcoin now goes to them. But the institutions are coming in and saying, no, we're going to be buying everything up, right? Which is why this happened almost immediately, which is why what happened this morning, I believe we're going to pass that in very, very near future as well, right? And we actually did because we climbed all the way back up to 95 again before coming down. So whatever, the whales are doing what they can, okay? They're still trying to control what they can, but let's keep this in mind. Bitcoin is now at 352 million in market cap, which is highest it's been ever, right? People concentrated on 20,000. We're not right there yet, but yesterday we did hit all-time high for price, and we're already all-time high for market cap. So keep that in mind. The market cap is higher now than 2017 because there's more Bitcoin around. That's the reason why. So as this number goes up, right, and the market cap goes up and up and up, and as Bitcoin goes up and up and up, it's going to be harder for these whales to do their whalish things because the institutions, their money is in, they're in it for a long haul, and they're buying hundreds of millions to billions, right? So what does that have to do with you? Well, you need to follow the smart money. You need to follow the big money. You need to follow what they're doing. They're experts at what they do. These are hedge funds and family offices and self-made billionaires. They know how to invest. And when they invest, they're investing for the long haul. Okay? That's how they became billionaires. That's how they attained their wealth, right? And what they're doing right now is shifting over from precious metals like gold, and I have an article about that, and they're shifting over to Bitcoin, right? So I know I know there's still a lot of people that is still having like a lot of doubt. Like my brother-in-law is one of them. Like he is so adamant about, you know what, Bitcoin, it's not gonna go past 20,000. If it does hit it, I'm gonna sell it all. You know, there's a lot of people like that, you know, that have been burned in the past. They're so ingrained, right? And it's the same thing with retail FOMO, which is why you don't see retail FOMO happen, because there's just so many people that think, okay, it's never going to hit above 20,000. Bitcoin is too manipulated. It's going to go nowhere, blah, 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 right? But the smart money, the institutions, they know better. That's why they're buying. They're buying as much as they can behind the scenes, while retail investors, the dumb money, is still fretting over Bitcoin's recent drop when it's still around 19,000. That's the funny thing. So you don't want to act like dumb money. You want to act like smart money, right? You buy when you can. You buy the dips. You dollar cost average, and you hodl for life-changing wealth. So hopefully, most of you guys watching me, you've been with me for a while. You know, you're not scared of a little dump like this. And trust me when I say this, the institutions, the ones that are buying right now, they're saying thank you. They want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they can because now it's a race. It's a race to accumulate Bitcoin because there is a set supply and there's really little that is coming out, and every single one coming out is being bought out. Every single one. I'm waiting for Grayscale to release their numbers, because last week they added 900 million, and I'm thinking week over week from last week to this week is going to be over $1 billion, and that's just one single company, guys. One single company that is adding that much. Think about everyone else that's trying to grab a piece as well. All right, so what else is there today? There's a few things. Investment giant AllianceBernstein now says Bitcoin has a role in investor portfolio. Okay, So a global investment manager with 631 billion in assets. Okay, that is literally, or it is much bigger than Bitcoin's market cap, almost double Bitcoin's market cap, and that's just one asset manager. And we know BlackRock, their CIO, just came out and said the same thing, that we think Bitcoin is here to stay and investors should look into Bitcoin. Well, guess what? AllianceBernstein is also saying the same thing, that Bitcoin now has a role in investor portfolios. So they're advising their clients to buy Bitcoin, right? Again, these are wealth managers that are supposedly, the smartest people, right? Really wealthy investors, not institutional investors, accredited investors, I should say. They're going to people like AllianceBernstein and they're asking for recommendations. And these guys who were not really pro on Bitcoin before now are telling their clients, yes, go buy Bitcoin, just like everyone else is. Just like BlackRock, which is the biggest asset manager in the world with like $8 trillion of assets, they're telling people to go buy Bitcoin. Even JP Morgan, their private, I forgot what you call it, advisory group, right? Same thing. The ones that are telling clients how to invest their money, they're telling people to go buy Bitcoin. So, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Institutions, smart money, accredited investors, it doesn't matter how you categorize. These players, they're all looking into Bitcoin. So it's really funny. I know it's a psychological thing, but average Joes, retail investors, everyone is still doubting this rally. Everyone is still panicking and still wondering if we're going to break 20,000 and wondering if the next doomstop is coming. Everyone's fretting and not really taking action while the big money is gobbling everything up. And that's what we don't want, right? We don't want that. We actually want the average Joes to have more Bitcoin than the institutional investors. But unfortunately, they're winning the game right now. So don't fall for it and follow what they're doing. Honestly, that's the name of the game. All right. What else is there? BTIG. I don't know who they are, but also they're involved with strategy and investing, and they're saying Bitcoin will hit at least $50,000 by 2021 and then continue higher. This is actually a low prediction based on what a lot of other people have said for 2021, including myself. I'm just looking at this current 4-year cycle versus the last 4-year cycle in terms of the gains. If we're anywhere close, that would put Bitcoin well above $50,000. And I'm talking about $200,000, $250,000, $300,000. So yeah. So 50,000 is actually on the low range. Low range. Let's see here. There's a lot. Hey, John, I'm glad you're in here moderating. I don't know what he said, though. Anyways, those of you guys that's tuned in a little bit late, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you smash with the like. All right, so like I said, 50,000 is on the low range. We know someone like Mike Novogratz also recently said 65,000 by 2021. That's also low. Right, Tim Draper is still saying 250,000. A lot of other people, Citibank themselves, is saying that Bitcoin will go up to $300,000, and that's been something I've been saying for a while, right? So even Citibank, one of the largest banks in the world, right? We know banks are not very bullish on crypto overall because they feel threatened by it, but even they are saying that Bitcoin could go up that much. They're advising their clients that it's going to go up, right? So how times have changed, how 2020 is really different than even 2019, 2018, 2017, and all the years behind. It's very, very different. BTC is now legitimate, right? You can't say it's not legitimate. You can't say it's not a store of value. You can't say that it's not better than gold, because it is. It is. And here, Look at this. Gold sees largest weekly outflow ever. Ever. And the reason being is because, well, a couple things. Number one is COVID. People are anticipating that's going to come to an end soon with the vaccine that's about to come out. And by April, anyone that wants it should have it. So right now, it's like the emergency responders and everyone else, they're getting vaccinated. But by April or May, basically everyone that wants one, wants a vaccine will have gotten it, right? So people are anticipating COVID will be over now that the new president is coming to terms soon, right? People are expecting another stimulus package that's going to help out the U.S. economy. I don't know the repercussions of that. I think that's also good and bad. But overall, people are thinking that's good. It helps people, get back on their feet. And people that are already back on their feet, what are they going to do? They're going to do something with that money. And a lot of them are going to put it into Bitcoin. So it's kind of like a double win, right? And people are buying more Bitcoin, especially the smart money, the big money. They're buying more Bitcoin because they see that the government is now printing more, trillions and trillions and trillions more out of thin air. So they're turning to Bitcoin, which is why, this thing has started already among smart money. But anyways, so that's what you see, right? Gold is now heading back down. Now, it peaked around 1900. It never broke 2000, and now it's now 1700. So for the last 10 years, 11 years, gold has basically not moved at all, right? And you have people that are now coming to terms, all these banks and billionaires and hedge funds, they're all recognizing that gold is better. Bitcoin is better than gold. Because with gold, you can't do anything with it. It's so hard to transfer, and you can't use it to facilitate any kind of transactions. There's no way you're going to go shave off gold, shavings or whatever to pay for things, right? It's not technology. It's hard to transport, right? It's easy to steal. So Bitcoin is none of those things. So people are recognizing that Bitcoin is a better form. That's why it was originally labeled digital gold. Because it is a store of value. You can use it as a hedge. You can use it for transactions. It's easy. It's easy to transfer, right? And everything about the blockchain comes inherent with Bitcoin, right? Which gold, you do not have that. You do not have that. So as we move forward, we're going to see more and more smart money saying that they're converting from gold to Bitcoin. And that is exactly what BlackRock said too. BlackRock sees a significant amount of gold holders move into Bitcoin. And gold is worth like $9 trillion, okay? So think about that. Bitcoin is at 350 billion. So there's a long way to go, right? Long way to go. So yeah. All right. So that's about Bitcoin. Oh, okay. Also, two other things about Bitcoin. Even the European Central Bank chief, Christine, she was asked about Bitcoin, and even she's like, okay, Bitcoin, overall as a whole is not a risk to financial stability, but she's more concerned about stable coins, more concerned about like Libra. If Libra actually takes over as a dominant coin, then she recognizes that, financial stability could be in trouble because someone like Libra could use that power to basically do what they want, right? Because rather than have multiple governments control their own thing, you have one company like Facebook that is controlling it. So she has a problem with that, but she has no problem with Bitcoin. So that is good. That is good because a lot of people are still speculating whether or not governments will crack down on Bitcoin, right? Like Jamie Dimon says that. Who else said that? Ray Dalio recently said that, saying, oh, if Bitcoin gets too big, central banks will try to crack down on it. Well, here's the chief of the European Central Bank saying, no, we don't see Bitcoin as a threat. They're not trying to crack down on it. But they are trying to crack down on privatized stablecoins like Libra from Facebook, right? So we'll see. That's why Libra is really not getting anywhere right now. I'm looking in the chat here. John Wiseman says, is a Saint Raisin Damon, welcome back. John, I don't know what John is saying. All right, just cool it, John. Whatever you're trying to tout in the live chat. Don't spam it too much. Okay. Last thing about Bitcoin is this. So we know MicroStrategy, right? It just so happened I looked up MicroStrategy stock this morning. So MicroStrategy, we know they purchased 425 million of Bitcoin back in like September. Okay, 2 purchases. I also read that Michael Saylor, the CEO himself, back in October, he said he owned about $200 million worth of Bitcoin. So that's outside of MicroStrategy. So he himself owns $200 million plus of Bitcoin. That was back to October. So now that 200 million probably doubled. Now he's worth probably 400 million in Bitcoin, and MicroStrategy is probably worth 600 to 800 million, right? First of all, I don't know how Michael Saylor is so rich. So I don't know how he was able to afford it. He said he bought it roughly around $10,000. He didn't even buy it at $3,000. He bought it at $10,000. So he basically doubled. But anyways, now it turns out that Coinbase was the exchange that facilitated this whole thing, right? Because it was always kind of, up in the air. MicroStrategy did say that when they bought their Bitcoin, it was like spread out over thousands and thousands and thousands of purchases. That is why the price did not increase dramatically all of a sudden. Because again, when big money, smart money, they want to come in, they're not trying to buy it high. They're trying to buy it low. So whenever Bitcoin dips, they're saying thank you. They want to buy. But that's exactly what MicroStrategy did. They spread out their buys, so it did not cause a price pump, because why would you want to buy when there's a price bump, right? But anyways, just interesting about Coinbase, how they facilitated this. Brian Armstrong, I kind of called him out on Friday, because last week, Friday or Thursday, right? He was the one that started tweeting nonstop about how there's, Mnuchin and the Fed, they're going to try to crack down on individual wallets and this and that, while no one else have heard of that. And he kind of just went on a rant and tried to scare everyone. I still think that's total 100% FUD. I have no idea where that came from. I have a feeling that he was like pressured into doing something like that. I don't even think he wanted to do it. I think it's complete BS. Now, a week later, do you hear anyone talk about it? Do you hear Brian talk about it? No, it's BS. Mnuchin is on the way out. He could care less about Bitcoin regulations at this point. I don't know what the deal is with that. Like, I still, I was talking to one of my Patreon members yesterday, Jeff, and he was saying the same thing. It's just very, very suspicious. And every time Bitcoin pumps or dumps, it just so happens that Coinbase is offline. Why is that? They had 3 years to prepare their infrastructure. They know how many users use Coinbase at any given time. Why would Coinbase just mysteriously go down, like, during these periods? Like, every single time. Not even just like once or twice. Every single time, right? It's very fishy if you put it all together. But anyways, yeah, so now you know, right? And then I did want to say, because I started saying that this morning, I was thinking about MicroStrategy stock. So because of this entry into Bitcoin, MicroStrategy themselves, their stock has almost doubled since September. So I was looking at it, they were like 120-ish for their stock. Now it's their 350. It's just like going parabolic moon. And then I started looking at their history, and they were much, 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 much higher. So I actually made a post on Patreon today. I know most of you guys don't care about stocks, you're into crypto, but some of you guys do care about stocks. But MicroStrategy is actually interesting. It could be an interesting play because of their involvement with Bitcoin, just like some other companies like Square and PayPal and so forth. But more so MicroStrategy because their market cap is relatively small. But anyways, just want to give you guys a side note. All right. Lastly, what is there? Well, today's a big day for Ethereum 2.0. So the new chain called Beacon Chain goes live, right? So this is phase 0. This is a very, very long phase, right? So we've been waiting basically 3 years for the start of this Ethereum 2.0, okay? And quite honestly, this is not the real Ethereum 2.0, but I think most of you guys have forgotten about it. It wasn't too long ago, Vitalik and Jason, is it Jason or Lublin? Joseph Lublin. They went on stage and said that when they first envisioned Ethereum, it was a test bed. And they were thinking about creating another blockchain, Ethereum 2.0, that was really going to scale and was really going to use. Ethereum 1 was just a test bed. And, when asked about Ethereum 2.0, they were saying they were still developing and working on it. They did not mean Ethereum 2.0 as what we see here is. This is evolving Ethereum 1.0 to proof of stake and scaling, right? What they were talking about was like another blockchain, but no one talks about that anymore. So I just want to let you guys know, because that wasn't too long ago. That was like a year ago. They openly said that. But anyways, so this new proof of stake beacon chain is now live. Last week they collected enough ETH. It was like 500,000 ETH, and they collected way more than that, 524,288 ETH. Right, and even Vitalik put in 1.4 million of ETH himself. So what's interesting is, I didn't know this, and it doesn't seem like a lot of people is talking about it. Once you stake that, like in this beacon, right, you're not allowed to take it out until phase 1. And that could be a long time. So people that basically staked in there, I believe it's like 32 ETH. I'm not 100% sure if that's how much. Well, I think that's going forward. But I guess when in phase 0, you could have staked whatever you want. But I was told, I read, that once you stake in there, you're not allowed to take it out until phase 1 is complete. So that is a very long time. So this is the roadmap. So I'm glad someone broke this up. So phase 0 is basically launching Beacon Chain. And phase 1 is going to be data sharding. Okay, so sharding is something that has been out for a while now. There's other projects that utilize sharding, like Zilliqa, for example, utilizes sharding. Once upon a time, Zilliqa and Ethereum were good buddies because they wanted to talk about sharding and collaborate, but now you don't hear that anymore. Vitalik just wants to do everything on his own. But anyways, phase 1 is sharding, and then there's a phase 2, and then a phase 3, or phase 2, and then it's finally going to be complete. But who knows how long phase 1 is going to take, or phase 1.5 or 2. It could take years, right? But it is starting. It is starting. So that's the big thing. And of course, Coinbase comes out and says that you can stake directly on Coinbase, and you can collect your rewards directly on Coinbase. And of course, this is not new. Coinbase already does staking for other projects like Tezos and others. So of course, they're going to be supporting Ethereum 2.0. So that is also the big thing that happened today. But not a lot of people care. Honestly, most people just care about Bitcoin. Bitcoin. All right. So Bitcoin is at 18.9. Now I'm seeing more people watching the stream, so I know a lot of you guys tuned in a little bit late, right? But to rehash what I said at the beginning of this video, right? These kind of whale games where they try to dump and cause people fear, cause them to have doubt, cause them to panic sell. And, the purpose of this is wealth transfer, to try to steal your Bitcoin, because there is no new Bitcoin coming out on the market. Every single one is being bought out by Grayscale and PayPal and Microstrategy and anyone else that is still buying Bitcoin behind the scenes. There's a lot of people buying behind the scenes, okay? Trust me, there's a lot. I mean, all the investment giants out there are now telling their accredited investors to buy Bitcoin. So the rich and wealthy, the smart money, the big money, they're all buying behind the scenes. And there's only 900 Bitcoin produced per day, and every single one is bought immediately. So how can the whales accumulate more Bitcoin right now? Well, to cause you to sell yours to them. That's what's going on. You don't want to sell your Bitcoin, right? If you've been holding for the last 3 years, or you just got into the game, you accumulate some for yourself, you don't want to make the mistake of selling your cheap Bitcoin to them. Once they get it, that's theirs. You can't get it back anymore, right? So these whale games are still happening, but you know, institutions are saying thank you. They're buying all of it up. So you don't want to fall for it. You definitely want to do what the smart money is doing, which is basically buying and accumulate as much Bitcoin you can right now and hold. That's it. These large guys, all they do is buy and hold, buy and hold. They rarely do small trades or swing trades. They're buying and holding. And those that have profited the most from Bitcoin are the ones that have held the most, held the longest, basically. That's the name of the game. So what's interesting right now is when you have these kind of whale-ish games where you have a sudden drop, right, like this, guess what happens? Bitcoin comes right back up, right? When we came down to 16.2, did we just hover at 16.2 and, you know, waited there for weeks or months? No. What happened is institutional investors like, yes, thank you. And they bought all of it and we went higher, right? And this morning, I guess the whales, it's like, okay, we're not satisfied. We got to make sure we get more before Bitcoin goes above 20,000. So let's do this, right? But on the grand scheme of things, did they really do anything? No. Look at the weekly chart. The red doesn't even appear. So only that drop to 16.2 appeared, but you could see this is green, 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 right? That is what's happening. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. This is the time to be holding and the time to be excited. Time to be really excited because we're right at the cusp of breaking 20,000. This will basically get rid of all naysayers. The only thing that naysayers right now can say is, oh, Bitcoin is still not above 20,000. But just yesterday, we were at 19.8, and that technically broke that broke the previous high and set a new all-time high. So think about it. Bitcoin already did it for a short time, but it did. It formed the all-time high. And the market cap is also at all-time highs. So technically, Bitcoin is already at all-time highs. But people like to focus on the 20,000. It's going to be a very, very, you know, like a psychological level, right? Like when Bitcoin was at 10,000 or broke 10,000 or broke below 10,000, it seemed like it was a disaster, right? Like, oh my God. It's the same deal with 20,000, but even more so. I would say even 10x more so. It's a psychological level that needs to be broken. But once it's broken, basically all the people that are naysayers or sitting on the sidelines, doubters, they're all go like say, oh shoot, I should have listened. I should have listened to George. I should have bought Bitcoin or I should have held on mine because they're going to see rise up and up and up. And it just becomes that much more expensive to accumulate then. So yeah. All right. I'll turn to you guys for Q&A. I said I was going to try to keep today's session a little bit shorter, try to keep it 30 minutes, but it is already 30 minutes. So let's do some Q&A, and I'll let you guys have your day back. Do you think the CME gap is just a self-fulfilling prophecy? I think it used to be, but now, yeah, it's just whatever. You know, gaps get filled and people think it gets filled, but it's just one of those things that as Bitcoin moves higher and higher and higher and there's a bigger market cap, this whole thing with futures gap just goes away. It just, if it gets filled, great. If it doesn't, no one cares. What's a good app to buy for Canadians? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, ever since the big one collapsed, I mean, the ones in the U.S., you could see if they support Canadian citizens. I mean, of course, you have Coinbase, but I'm not a fan of Coinbase. I like Gemini, so check out Gemini, and then check out some of these other ones. I mean, you can use traditional apps too, you know, brokerage app like Robinhood, but I highly suggest like the Cash App. You can even use PayPal now, so you can look into those. Low roller, I saw you say it a million times. I honestly don't care. I honestly don't care about the Venezuela army mining Bitcoin. So yes, I heard you the first time you said it. What are you gonna do with all the gains? I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I hate to be like philosophical, but money really doesn't buy you happiness, right? But it's usually people that don't have people that have the money say that. People that don't have the money never recognize it, right? So I think that's still important to recognize. A lot of us right now, we're very, very happy, enthusiastic, excited about Bitcoin and crypto going up. We're making back our money. A lot of people are becoming millionaires, right? But I think the key thing is to find happiness, right? To be able to enjoy your life and not be so focused on always making more money, which is, I know that's impossible. Unless you become filthy rich, you're always going to worry about money. But I do fantasize that, like, hey, once I don't have to worry about money, I don't have to hustle daily for money, what am I going to do? Well, I really like to just enjoy life. I like to focus more on like my kids and stuff like that, right? So hopefully that happens next few years, and hopefully it happens for you guys too. Now, if your kids are already older out of the house, that's a different story. But hey, then you could just focus on yourselves. Alex, see, that's the thing. Money makes you live comfortable, but if you're always greedy, you never have enough. So I think most of us know it in our 20s, 30s, when you first come out of college or out of high school, you're working you're working at McDonald's or whatever, Burger King, right? And then you can afford what you can. At that time, you probably just want a PS5 or Xbox, right? That's why it's so crazy right now. But as you get older, your expenditures go up. You start buying nice cars, you buy houses, and then once you have a family, you worry about family vacations, or you upgrade your house, you upgrade your car, right? It just seems like if your income level goes up, your expenditures just go up. You think you're living more comfortable, but are you really happier? No, because you're still stuck in the same loop because you're trying to figure out how to make more money because you want to spend more money. So you never have enough, right? So the thing is, you have to break out of that. You either have to break out of the loop, like you always need something else, or you need to attain so much money that you don't have to worry about it. So it's one of the two things, right? Is it safe to buy Bitcoin with $10 at this moment? Yes, you could buy a fractional amount of Bitcoin for $10, right? And just simply hold it. But are you going to attain life-changing wealth with $10 of Bitcoin today? Probably not. Probably not. At this point, no. $10 back in 2012 would net you $32 million today in Bitcoin. But now going forward, I don't think that $10 go generate life-changing wealth. But it will go up a lot more. The name of the game for Bitcoin is to dollar cost average and hold it. Basically, if you have any kind of investment, this is not financial advice, but in general, and this is what I have done, but not nearly enough. I'll sadly admit I should have done a lot more. But you know what? You get a paycheck, you get whatever, you get extra money. Take some of that, put it aside, and buy Bitcoin, and simply hold it, and that's it. Just ignore it. Ignore that you even bought it. And then check it a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, which goes really quickly. I mean, really, really quickly. 3 years is now past from 2017, right? It's pretty quick. I know some of us look at our portfolios way too much, but it's pretty quick. 5 years, like I moved into this house, which I still consider new, but we've been in this house for like 5 years now. So my kids have aged by 5 years. So time flies really fast. Had I bought Bitcoin and held for 5 years, I would have that life-changing wealth already. So time flies really fast. So that's the name of the game. If you are new and you're trying to get into Bitcoin, that's how you play it. Whenever you just set a schedule for yourself, whenever you get a paycheck or whatever, right? Take a little bit out, put it into Bitcoin, and just forget it. And within 5 to 10 years, you're going to be golden. Michael, have you ever taken a BTC-backed loan? No. I don't suggest it. I don't suggest it because it leads to bad things. It does lead to bad things. You know, all these articles about liquidations and stuff like that, that happens when you play with money you don't have, basically, right? Pigs get, what is it? Bears, no. Bulls make money, bears make money, pigs get slaughtered, right? When you take out a loan, that's what happens. Because 99.9% of people that take out a loan that's backed by Bitcoin, they're using that money to buy more crypto. They're not doing it to like pay down their house or anything. They're buying more crypto, right? So when you have a drop like this, where you go from 19.5 to 16.2, you know, or maybe we could have gone even more to 14 or whatever, that would simply liquidate you and you're done. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. John, yes. John, I still can't get into golf. Even if I get filthy rich and I have nothing to do, I still can't turn on golf. Someone said talk about ETH 2.0 staking. Well, right now, I don't know. Everything's still being worked on. I know Coinbase is supporting it, Binance is supporting it. Everyone's going to support it, right? But right now, you have enough. It's already staked in phase 0. Whoever staked already, they can't take it out until phase 1. And phase 1 could take like years. It could take like 5 years. So unfortunately, you got that locked in. But Ethereum keeps going up for 5 years. You're golden anyways. So you got to wait for that. Who knows when phase 1's going to be done. For me, I've never gotten into really staking. I know people actually question me, why don't you stake? I don't know. I just don't stake. I used to mine, but I just don't stake. Let's do a ski trip at 50,000. Why a ski trip? I am pretty good at skiing though. But why a ski trip? Vegas first, right? Vegas first, 2021. I'm pretty sure by April, May, most people have been vaccinated, right? So I think that's probably a good time to go to Vegas, but it'll be like insanely hot. Anyways, so we'll plan on it because by that time, I'm pretty sure we're well above 20,000 in April and May. Who knows where Bitcoin will be? Maybe it'll be at 50,000, and then it'll be too hot for skiing. By the way, I was invited earlier this year in February. I was invited by Toyota to go to Utah and to test out all-wheel drive on a Camry and Avalon. And they booked us a hotel at the Montage. And if you guys don't know what the Montage Hotel is, it's one of the best ski resorts in the country. Go take a look at it. That place was amazing. Amazing. So if you guys are talking about ski trips, I would suggest that. It's not Colorado, it's Utah. But that place is amazing. If you look at the room rates, it's like $2,000 a night. And that's the base room. That was insane. That was insane. And but anyways, yeah, we'll think about ski trip after the Vegas trip. But anyways, speaking of the Vegas trip, you guys want to donate to that, I do have my BTC code up. Also, Patreon. If you're a Patreon member, you're invited. So if you guys are interested in that. Yeah, it was in Park City. The Montage in Park City. It was crazy. That was a crazy resort. What price does Bitcoin have to get? I don't know. I don't know how much I need to actually retire. I mean, honestly, I kind of retired like 3 years ago, but you know, I needed to focus on something. I needed to do something. So that's why I started my card channel, grew that really well. That's why I'm focused on, of course, still CryptosRUs. So I'm still working. I don't know when I'll stop or ever. There's an ungraded Zion rookie under 250 a good buy. If you go buy a Zion rookie, just focus on Prism. Just focus on Prism only. Prism or Prism Silver. Just focus on those two. That's it. My car channel is called Drivers Only. You can search it up, Drivers Only. Pretty good traction. I would say in both, right? I don't know about crypto anymore because there's so many channels out there, but I would say I'm in at least within the top 10. Maybe not anymore, but I used to be. But with car channels, I know for sure I'm in the top 10 because, yeah, I'm doing well with that. How old am I? I'm under 40. Let's just put it that way. But I'm very close to it. Swat, can you talk about Celsius? Well, Celsius is just like Aave. They have climbed up recently, but they used to be Aave before Aave. I mean, they were one of the very first ones that really, got big with lending and staking, but they were kind of under the radar. And then Aave, out of the blue, like shot up, and then you could see Celsius shot up, right? In May, Celsius was still only 44 million market cap, and then they hovered around 90, 100 million, and then boom, right? It's like all of a sudden people started paying attention because they're in the lending, which means they're in DeFi, and then it just shot up, right? So their business model definitely works. Alex, the CEO, the founder of Celsius, very smart guy, although he created VoIP basically. He said he worked at AT&T and he basically created VoIP. He's like the founder of VoIP. I don't know. I never verified it, but he says he is. And he did a 180 and just basically started crypto and focused on crypto lending. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Celsius. I like Aave because I supported them before when they were at ETHLend, and then they kind of transited, but still. Both are, I mean, if you look at the business model for these lending projects, they're really good. It's like a win-win for them. If things go down or up, they make money. So it's really low risk for them, right? So I think they're good. Can I look at market cap page 2 or 3? I'm supposed to end this session. Yeah, it's a little bit long. So I'm gonna end it because I'm gonna try to gain back some of my time and your time too. Did YouTube ever say sorry for shutting down your channel? No. And luckily, one of you guys pointed me to the right person who worked in YouTube that actually got me in touch with someone internally and fixed it. Otherwise, maybe I would have never got my channel back because YouTube is still working or operating on bare bones. It's mostly just bots and machine learning, according to them, that's controlling things. So I don't know why it took so long for me to get back my channel. I see other creators, they complain on Twitter and they get it back right away. But for me, it's just like it was not working. But thank you for the person that referred me to the person that works within YouTube. So appreciate that. Kelvin, appreciate that too. Sushi Swap or Uniswap? I would definitely go with Uniswap, but though Sushi Swap could be a good play, but don't go too heavy into sushi. They did just collaborate with Yearn, so that's actually a big deal for them. But I just got done saying that yesterday too. I like Uniswap much better because they're much bigger DEX. They're number one DEX, but Sushi Swap is still one of the bigger DEX, although they have a really silly name, and but they could be a good hold for long term too. All right, guys, I'll let you guys go. So hopefully you guys caught everything, right? If you didn't, go back. But basically, don't be falling for these traps. You don't want to transfer your wealth. You don't want to transfer your Bitcoin to the whales that are trying to still manipulate the games. Follow the smart money. Follow the big money, the institutions. What are they buying? They're buying Bitcoin. They're buying as much Bitcoin as they can. So follow them. Follow what they're doing, because they're trying to basically get everything. They're trying to get everything they can right now. They realize this is the future. Bitcoin is going to overtake gold. No one cares about gold anymore. Everyone cares about Bitcoin and digital and all the inherent things with it. So, yeah, don't fall for these traps, guys. All right, guys, if you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, follow me on Twitter, and of course, stay tuned to my live session tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care, guys.